We've just had a little nice well wishes message from Rainis Vike, 2019 Indy Lights Vice Champion with Junkos Racing, also a former BNL Karting Series alumni. He was out on the track with our drivers Thursday and Friday, battling the wet weather conditions but keeping himself razor sharp. I hear that he's here this weekend, so good to see Rainis getting back behind the wheel of a kart. It's always good training for drivers in higher tier categories. But very shortly, we get underway with the second barrage of action here at Karting Genk for the first day of competition for the final round of the 2019 BNL Karting Series season. And this time it is Senior Max, and it is the final qualifying heat before we decide who the top 28 are. And the grid is as follows. Clayton Ravenscroft, who I managed to catch briefly during the lunch break, he's had a little bit of ring rust over the last couple of months. He's on pole position alongside Ilian Brunsils. Dylan LaHaye and Lewis Gilbert round out row 2 ahead of Eduardo Cosseteng and Nick van der Mosselaar. Jason Lockwood and Matilda Olson round out row number 4 ahead of Teddy Clinton and Nelson King. Maxim Turiev and Will Jenkins, that is row number 6, ahead of Fabien Bock and Andres Hebert. And that's row 7. Kian Sang, Samuel Harrison, Zen Rudenberg, Patrick Rundqvist, Felix Vager, Vincent van Kerkhoff, and round out the top 20, ahead of Emily de Hoys, Lorenzo Stolk, Bram Osevada, Victor Plateau, Guilherme de Oliveira, Ehad Turca, Clementine Benoit, Josh Powell, and Ben Donkin. 7 minutes have been set on the timer above the start-finish line, and the red lights are on the gantry once more. So this is the third and final qualifying heat for today. They'll go through it all again tomorrow for the final day of the season. So the top 10 is Ravenscroft, Brunsils, LaHaye, Gilbert, Cosseteng, van der Mosselaar, Lockwood, Olson, Clinton and King. So 29 drivers again going into battle. And we've already got the 312 of... Oh no, that's Guilherme de Oliveira. So a real shame for the Portuguese driver, wanting to get some mileage in before the grand finals. He has qualified for that in 2 weeks' time at Sarno in Italy. So we are down to now effectively 28 drivers, unfortunately now. So we're now trying to line up into grid formation. A few stragglers at the back part of the field. Looks like they're getting into position. So for the final time, it's the last of 3 qualifying heats. 7 minutes on the gantry, on the timer. Red lights on the gantry, ready for us to go racing. So it'll be this and 2 more Senior Max races to conclude the day's action for this particular class. And we get a full start called. So race direction not happy with that start, as Clayton Ravenscroft was a little bit further ahead than Ilian Brunsils than probably the race starter would have liked. So they pinged it as a full start. Another formation lap will be put into prominence here. So it's Ravenscroft from Brunsils, LaHaye, Gilbert, Cosseteng, van der Mosselaar, Lockwood, Olson, Clinton, King, Turiev, Jenkins, Bock, Hebert, Sang, Harrison, Rudenberg, Rundqvist, Varger, Van Kerkhoffen, De Hoys, Stolk, Ossevarde, Plateau, a space where it would have been on 25th position for De Oliveira, Turca, Benoit, Powell and Donkin. So this is the third full start of the day. But with tensions running high in the championship dynamics, it can very much play on the minds of drivers, but they have to focus and iron that out. And just focus on the task at hand, which is to get up as far the order or be at the front of the field and stay there for as long as humanly possible. So, second time of asking for the final Senior Max qualification heat of the first day of the last race weekend of the season in the BNL Karting Series. So, Ravenscroft on pole, Brunsils alongside, red lights back on the starting gantry, 7 minutes once again reset on the timer here in Karting Genk. Better start this time. Do we go lights out? Yes, we do. And Brunsils came under very, very stern opposition from Gilbert. who's trying to go round the outside, and it's 4 abreast nigh on, and Brunsils has got the lead. Gilbert up to second, LaHaye up into third place. Ravenscroft looks to have provided a slight gesticulation there. He's down in fourth, maybe fifth position. Looks to be fourth or fifth by my reckoning there, as we've got somebody right at the back end of the field. Looks to be De Oliveira, I believe. He might have got that cart restarted and going again. So the field trying to make its way neatly through turns 8 and 9, and there is an absolute gaggle at the back part of the field, squabbling over tarmac space like their lives depended on it. As Brunsils leads from LaHaye, then it is Gilbert, as the 3:15 of Jason Lockwood tries to go up the inside of Clayton Ravenscroft, who instantly counter-attacks, and then straight away has got Jenkins in the 3:30 just behind for close company. So Brunsils and LaHaye trying to pull away now, ahead of Lewis Gilbert, and it's Lockwood, looks like, or could that be Cossetang? So Cossetang started in 5th, must have made a good inroad there in the initial foray, but there are changes of position round about sort of 4th, 5th to 6th position. Olson currently looks to be in 7th, and has got just behind, looks like Nelson King on the 3:54, I believe, as there's a nice little move up the inside for what is 8th place on the road, as Brunsils fending off LaHaye quite vehemently there. 5 minutes and 19 plus an additional lap left to go. So at the minute, it is Brunsils, LaHaye, Gilbert, Ravenscroft, Lockwood, Cossetang, and Olson. So Olson trying to go up the inside of Cossetang, makes the move stick, and looks like King has just gone through as well. So Cossetang loses out 2 positions in one corner. And looks like Ben Donkin's definitely in the trenches, with Bram Osivada right on the back bumper of the Brit, who looks to have lost out at least 1 position, maybe even make that 2, as Vincent van Kerkhoven, I think, has made his way past. But at the front, Gilbert's now closing in on the 2 leaders, so LaHaye now leads. Brunsils in 2nd place, Gilbert in 3rd. Then Ravenscroft a little bit further adrift in 4th place, but has some ground to make up. And Nelson King is now ahead of Eduardo Cossetang as they come across the start-finish line to complete another lap, as Brunsils really closes up on LaHaye in the braking zone into turn number 2. And they have to be very wary of that runoff area off of turn 2 and into the first of a triple right-hander at turn 3. As Gilbert's gone up the inside of Brunsils to take 2nd. Now the chase is on. It's now about closing down that distance between himself and Dylan LaHaye for the lead of the race, but Clayton Ravenscroft has come back at them. I've seen some audacious moves in the past, especially last year's BNL Karting Series finale, when he went round the outside of the last couple of corners and made up at least 2 or 3 places, which was definitely an overtake you needed to see to believe. As now Olson has got past Lockwood for 5th position, so she showed a very good turn of pace on the Sodi Kart chassis in the last heat, which she won, as there was that titanic 4-way scrap for the lead of the race, as it's all sort of slightly starting to kick off in front of the Swede. There's Ravenscroft trying to put the feelers out on Brunsils at the minute. And Ravenscroft up the inside of Brunsils, now takes 3rd position. So good job there from the Brit. Now has to try and close up on Gilbert and LaHaye. Last time around, the gap between 1st and 2nd was just over 4 tenths. It just depends on how much Gilbert can close in on LaHaye. But then Ravenscroft, Brunsils, Olson, that's the top 5, followed by Jason Lockwood in 6th place. Then we've got the 3:54 of Nelson King, the 3:16 of Eduardo Cossetang, and Felix Varget is just ahead of Will Jenkins in the 3:30. That rounds out the top 10. Now go on to lap number 5 here. 2 minutes and 16, plus an additional lap left to go on the clock. And the top 6 is definitely getting a lot closer together. But now Gilbert has really got the bit between the teeth and is trying to close up on LaHaye, as Olson goes up the inside of Brunsils to take 4th position. Quite nicely done by the Swede, as As Lockwood now on the back bumper of Brunsils. So Brunsils coming under fire in the latter stages of this last qualifying heat. But it's becoming a three-way battle royale at the front, with LaHaye leading, Gilbert in second, and hot on the heels of the Scot is Ravenscroft in third place. So we come round to start lap number 7 very shortly, as Ravenscroft has got past Lewis Gilbert. That's the and he's just said to Lewis Gilbert, let's work together and get past Dylan LaHaye, as that was a perfectly timed manoeuvre from Clayton Ravenscroft to swoop up the inside of Dylan LaHaye into turn number 2. But could we see a repeat of the previous qualifying heat, as LaHaye retakes the lead? Gilbert trying to slingshot past Ravenscroft on the approach down to turn number 7. Can't get through quite yet, but the time is fast ticking away. Less than 60 seconds, plus an additional lap left to go, as LaHaye continues to lead, having started on position number 3. So Ravenscroft, and it says a big gap because now Nelson King has got past Ilian Brunsils for 5th position. So LaHaye takes the quickest of glances over his right shoulder to see where Ravenscroft is, just to position his kart in the correct position. And 29 seconds on the clock remaining as Lewis Gilbert tries to go defensive on Matilda Olsson. Gets a little bump from behind as Ravenscroft retakes the lead yet again. Gilbert looking quite menacing. Olsson just waiting in the wings there is the Swede from Uppsala. So we come to the last 10 seconds. So by the time they hit the end of turn number 7, it's going to be this being the penultimate lap as they come through turn 7 now. And that's pretty much it. The time has now expired. This is the penultimate lap of the race, and the battle is still raging on at the front of the field. As Gilbert tries to go up the inside of LaHaye, has to back out of it. And this is allowing Nelson King and Ilian Brunsils to come into this 6-way scrap for the effective lead and victory of this race. Ravenscroft has struck whilst the iron is hot, as King gets passed by Brunsils coming through the final couple of corners. So last lap it is. Clayton Ravenscroft has an advantage of just over 0.2 of a second, but it wasn't enough because Dylan LaHaye goes up the inside of the Brit yet again to retake the lead. Gilbert could go through, he's got enough room but doesn't have it, as Ravenscroft shuts the door quite firmly there to keep his hold on second position. But it's a case of when will Ravenscroft strike back at Dylan LaHaye. He's bump drafting on the back bumper of the Belgian going through into turn 7. And he goes wide and has to avoid the barriers. That's really compromised him coming out of turn 7. And he has lost an absolute plethora of places. So that was down from second. And that has put him right down to the bottom part of the top 10. As Brunsils really having to get defensive on Nelson King. As Lewis Gilbert trying to find his way past Dylan LaHaye. Olsson right in hot pursuit. Top 5 line astern. It's going to be about who's going to want it. And who's going to drag race to the end of the line. Who's going to drag race to the end of the finish. And it's not enough because Dylan LaHaye takes the win just ahead of Lewis Gilbert and Matilda Olsson. Ilian Brunsils and Nelson King make it a very, very close top 5 indeed. 0.463 of a second from between LaHaye, Gilbert, Olsson, Brunsils and King. Ravenscroft would end up being 9th at the end of that behind Will Jenkins. Well, Felix Vargier capitalised along with them as Ravenscroft went to try to go towards the outside of turn 7. I think he just went in a bit too hot there maybe and had to avoid the barriers. So Ravenscroft finishes in 9th behind Eduardo Cosseteng, Will Jenkins in 7th, Felix Vargier in 6th. Jason Lockwood rounds out the top 10 ahead of Kian Sang, Maxim Turiev, Lorenzo Stock, Teddy Clinton and Andreas Herbert being the last of the top 15. Guilherme de Oliveira unfortunately did not start the race due to a technical issue on the formation lap. Emily de Hoys in 16th ahead of Sven Rudenberg, Sam Harrison, Nick van der Mosselaar, Bram Ossewaarde, Fabian Bock, Erhard Turker, Victor Plateau, Ben Donkin, Vincent van Kerkhoff and Patrick Rundquist finishing all the way down in 26th ahead of Clementine Benoit and Josh Powell. Right, now we, after a brief interlude where we provided the official trailer for the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup, 21st to the 23rd of February in Karting Genk in Malaga, just off the Andalusian coast, we get to our last race of the Micromax action here on day one of the final weekend. As they go onto the formation lap, the starting order will be as follows. Thomas Strauven, the number 9, will be on pole. Alongside will be the number 19 of Max Swiderski. Then it's the number 17 of Len Nys and Tommy van der Stroys in the number 54. That's row 2. Matej Radenkovic in the 99 and Dries van Langendonk in the number 15. That rounds out row number 3. Ahead of Olivier Jonkers in the 16, Casper Schulmans in the 40, Karel Stout in the 3, the number 56, the UK's Ollie Wise with Kaz Tobin in the 21 and Tom van Langendonk rounding out the 12 strong. So this time, a slightly longer encounter, 13 minutes plus 1 additional lap, as they are now onto the formation here at Karting Genk. So again, so it's Strauven, Swiderski, Nys, van der Stroys, Radenkovic, Dries van Langendonk, Jonkers, Schulmans, Stout, Wise, Tobin and Tom van Langendonk. This time it's 13 minutes plus 1 additional lap. The red lights are ignited on the starting gantry here at the home of champions. And we are being made to wait quite a long time, but great formation, great prowess for these drivers to show the older drivers how it should be done. We've had a couple of false starts this weekend already. So hopefully we should be good to go, lights out, first time in this particular race. They come around the final corner. Into the tram lines they go. The revs on the Rotax engines roar into life and we go lights out. It's a clean start thus far, as it looks like Strauven's got the initial advantage and one of the Van Langendonks was trying, Swiderski had to go very wide. Van der Stroy's now down into what looks like 6th position behind Radenkovic. So Strauven and Nys, it looks like, are leading. Swiderski in 3rd. Looks like Radenkovic now in 4th. That could be Dries van Langendonk ahead of Tommy van der Stroys. And then could be Olivier Jonkers there as well. The Schulmans might be a little bit further back, which looks to be the case. Around about, looks to be 9th position ahead of Ollie Wise from the United Kingdom. As, Strauven and Nys are literally attached by the bumpers. So this is going to allow Len Nys to get the slipstream, but he's probably assisting in some respects his teammate as they come across the line. They complete their first lap, and the gap between Strauven and Nys was just 74 one-thousandths of a second. Then it was a further 2/10 thereof to Max Swiderski, Matej Radenkovic, Olivier Jonkers, Tommy van der Stroys, Dries van Langendonk, Karel Stout. Casper Schulmans now drops down into 9th. And there's a little bit of a gap between the young Dutchman to the young Brit, Ollie Wise, who's getting a taste of European competition out here in Belgium. But the top 2 is now a top... I think I'm going to have kittens saying this. It looks to be a top 6 squabble. So Strauven leads, Nys, Swiderski, Radenkovic, van der Stroys. And it looks like we have Jonkers and Dries van Langendonk. That is the top 7. A little bit further back, you've got Karel Stout and Casper Schulmans. Ollie Wise currently sitting in 10th position as Tom van Langendonk fends off Kaz Tobin going into turn 2, but Tobin takes the advantage, takes the position from the GKS driver quite nice and cleanly through turn 2. So from Strauven to Jonkers, as they crossed the finish line, it was just under 8.5 tenths of a second. This definitely is going to be a lot closer than the first final we saw a bit earlier on today. But at the minute, Strauven is again holding on to the front of the field. But Nys and Swiderski really starting to... Well, Nys is being forced to the outside by Swiderski, who now slots into second position, and Van der Stroys is definitely gung-ho, guns ablaze, trying to go into turn number 10, and the two GKS drivers in the form of Dries van Langendonk and Olivier Jonkers nearly come to accidental contact there, as Van der Stroys was trying to position his car to go up the inside, but the 54 from the Netherlands couldn't do so far, as Swiderski now has the lead ahead of Stuyven, Nys, Radenkovic, Dries van Langendonk, Olivier Jonkers, Tommy van der Stroys in 7th, Casper Schurmans a little bit further back, but not by much, as Ollie Wise is having to battle away with Kaz Tobben and Tom van Langendonk, and that was very close, as Tom van Langendonk really put one up the inside of Kaz Tobben going into turn 5, and Tobben now coming under pressure from Wise, heading down the back straight towards turn number 7. But at the front it is still an absolute ding-dong battle, and Swiderski not leading anymore. Looks like that is Stuyven that's leading, and Radenkovic tries to go side by side with Nys towards the outside line heading into turn 10. Nice move by Len Nys to go up the inside of Max Swiderski, and there we have Dries van Langendonk trying to get past Matej Radenkovic, and that is allowed. Well, Schurmans has just gone up the inside of Tommy van der Stroys, who retaliates rather quickly through the final couple of corners. And it is a bump. It's a bumping fest at the front of the field. And Stuyven, Nys and Swiderski separated by less than a tenth and a half. And here comes Dries van Langendonk and Olivier Jonkers a little bit further adrift. But Dries van Langendonk really getting racy all of a sudden and looks to close up towards the top 3. Or is that Jonkers up in 4th place? They're coming through turn 7. But Stuyven now still holding on to the lead. Len Nys in 2nd. Swiderski in 3rd place. Dries van Langendonk, it looks like, in 4th. A little bit of a further gap back to Olivier Jonkers. We'll just see what is going on at the front of the field. So, yeah, Nys is in 2nd, fending off Swiderski for 2nd position. And then just behind is the 16 of Olivier Jonkers. So Jonkers ahead. Or is he? The thing is that with these white letters and red paint, I'm trying to see with the amount of side pod rubbing, rubber marks you can see on the side pod. Sometimes it doesn't always keep the numbers quite clean, as there's a little bump from behind on Len Nys by Max Swiderski, who goes up the inside into turn 2, then into turn 3, makes the move for 2nd. And at the minute, Dries van Langendonk is still in 4th. Olivier Jonkers in 5th, and can start to close down on those in front. And between Stuyven, Nys, Swiderski and Dries van Langendonk last time around, it was just under 3.5 tenths of a second, but the gaps seem to now be extending between the top 4. Well, not between the top 2, because Swiderski is really hot on the heels of Thomas Stuyven to retake that lead once again. We've gone to 6 minutes and 57 seconds, plus an additional lap left to go. And Swiderski is absolutely on fire. He's going to try and go up the inside of Stuyven into the final couple of corners. Makes the move stick. But now this puts the boot on the other foot. Stuyven will have the toe on Swiderski. As will, Nys is now down into 4th place. As Dries van Langendonk has got up into 3rd place. Could challenge Stuyven for 2nd very shortly. And, there we go. Change for the lead. Stuyven back up the inside of Swiderski. And Van Langendonk is going to try and go up the inside. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there. Van Langendonk had to go up the inside on turn 5 and ended up on the outside approach into turn number 6 and was nearly hung out to dry there. But luckily enough, kept a big grasp with both hands onto 3rd place. But this is allowing Len Nys to keep in the fight for the lead. And Nys goes up the inside of Van Langendonk there to retake 3rd position. This is allowing the likes of Olivier Jonkers, Tommy van der Stroys and Matej Radenkovic to close up. Meanwhile, Casper Schurmans languishing all the way down behind Karel Stout in 9th position. But Swiderski has now got the run on Stuyven, as van der Stroys is going to pull past Jonkers, I believe. Well, if he gets it right in the braking zone, no, he has to wait for it. So could get a better run out of the final couple of corners on the next lap, as long as he keeps it pinned razor sharp on the apex entry and exit. As Swiderski really pressurising Stuyven, but whilst he's doing that, he's got a choice to make. Do I go over after Strauven, or do I battle against Len Nyes and make sure he doesn't get second position? And when you're in this kind of pressure cooker situation, Swiderski is the meat in a GKS sandwich, but not for much longer, because Len Nyes goes up the inside of the number 19. This is allowing Dries van Langendonk back into the fold, and could we very shortly see a trio of GKS Lemons Power karts at the front of the field? Not too sure. We'll find out very shortly. But Nyes run on the back bumper of Strauven. They resume their battle from earlier on, 4 minutes and 34. Plus an additional lap left to go with Swiderski really trying to go up the inside of Nyes into the braking zone into turn 2. But Tommy van der Stroys has really come back firing on all 125 cc's of that Rotax Max Evo engine. He's going to try and go up the inside of Van Langendonk, and is he going to do it on turn 6? He does. Up into 4th place goes the 54 from the Netherlands. And at the minute, Ollie Wise is doing a great job. Again, still, I think, by my reckoning, still sitting in 10th position. The 9 in front have got away, but he's having his own battle to contend with. So at the front of the field, it is still Strauven holding on. Strauven really trying to do his best, and he gets a little slight love tap from behind from Len Nyes with Max Swiderski, and now Tommy van der Stroys. Van der Stroys really trying to assert his grasp on the championship, but he's got to just bide his time. He's got 3.5 minutes or so as Max Swiderski now goes up into second, but Len Nyes takes the lead. So Nyes and Swiderski, they seem to have got the slingshot past Strauven, who fires it up the inside of Swiderski, and then goes Van der Stroys. So Van der Stroys now up into 3rd place, and this could be very, very hairy indeed for Dries van Langendonk, who gets hung out to dry on the outside of turn number 6, loses out to Swiderski and to Radenkovic. So very much the case that Van Langendonk now down, Dries van Langendonk now down into 6th position, as Van der Stroys has got past Thomas Strauven up into 2nd position. Now as Strauven retaliates, and that was very close, nigh on side by side between Tommy van der Stroys. Oh, this is getting to be a block fest out here a little bit, as Matej Radenkovic battling against the powers that are GKS Lemons, and one of which is Olivier Jonkers, the other is Dries van Langendonk. So Van Langendonk, I think, has just gone back down into 7th, make that 6th, and a little bit of side pod contact there. They do say Robbing's racing, but karting is a non-contact sport, as Van der Stroys looks to have relinquished 2nd and now dropped back into 3rd behind Thomas Strauven. And the gap between Nyes and Strauven is just over 7 tenths. So Strauven took the win in the first one. Could it be another GKS driver that ends up taking a win? We'll find out very, very shortly indeed. So Van der Stroys back up into 2nd. Swiderski getting very, very daring on the outside of Thomas Strauven going into turn 10. Has to relinquish the position, but gets back on the power very, very quickly indeed. Strauven's looking all over the back, looking behind him as if to say, where is Max Swiderski? Then you can't count out Dries van Langendonk, as now Thomas Strauven down into 3rd place, having to battle with Swiderski and Dries van Langendonk, as Tommy van der Stroys is trying to close down on Len Nyes. This could be very much a real confidence boost from the youngster from the Netherlands on the Paralin chassis in the number 54 towards his title aspirations in 2019. As Swiderski just fires it up the inside of Strauven. Here comes Dries van Langendonk trying to power his way past Strauven, but Strauven puts himself back behind Max Swiderski, as Van der Stroys has gone for the lead up the inside of Len Nyes on turn 9. Has he made it? Yes, that's a clean move, but now he's got to fight for it. 43 seconds plus an additional lap. Tommy van der Stroys, having started from 4th, now hits the front of the field with just moments remaining, and he gets a little bump from behind. The drivers have to watch out, because obviously if there's a front fairing that's out of position, it's an automatic 5-second penalty post-race. Another bump from behind on Van der Stroys by Len Nyes. The gap was just 84 thousandths of a second. Van der Stroys has got this, plus an additional lap to hold on for the lead and the victory. Max Sadurski in third. Kasper Schulman's absolutely nowhere once again in this race. He's down back in 8th position as Van der Stroy's just fighting tooth and nail, going ultra defensive. The time has now run out. That's it. 13 minutes are over. It's down to this plus another additional lap. So Van der Stroy's wants to get back onto winning ways as there's more ducking and diving and dicing between people, and it looks like Kasper Schulmans has got up the inside of Karel Stout, and they've been trading positions. But we come down towards the conclusion of this race. It's going to be one more lap to go. There's a little bit of daylight now between Van der Stroys and Len Nys for the race win. So we'll see what happens here. One more lap to go. So it's Van der Stroys versus Len Nys for the second race victory of the weekend. 0.116 between the pair. Len Nys trying to go round towards the outside. Cut back in. Get a bit more momentum carry. Heading into turn number 3. Sadurski battling against Thomas Strauven for position. Thank you, Dave. There's no front fairing penalties on these, but it's all the other characters as well. So Van der Stoys really has to outdrag Len Nys, who's got towards the inside line. He's going for it up the inside of turn 7, and he makes the move. Nice work there by Len Nys. It's on the last lap, but Tommy Van der Stoys has an opportunity. He's got to keep in close proximity with Len Nys, as it looks like Thomas Strauven has got past Max Sadurski. This could be a run to the line. Tommy Van der Stoys is going to put it all on the line. He wants another victory. He hasn't had one since late March. He's got a real good run. He's got a real good turn.